So basically, my project, my research article for Talaria was the individual quality relationship between iridescent coloration and the reproductive success of tree swallows. My mentor was Dr. Justine Levaillon, and I'd like to thank her again for my work that she put in to this project with me and her help. All right, so basically sexual selection is a process where members from one sex compete and select mates from the opposite sex based on their traits. This theory can explain some traits that appear in some species that are not explained by natural selection. And I will go into detail an example of this later on. So quality, individual quality is basically like an example of it is good genes and being adept. Individuals will advertise their quality to increase their chances of being selected during sexual selection. And quality has shown to be directly related to the reproductive success of individuals. So choosing a low quality mate may lead to lower reproductive success or less offspring in this study. So in order to have more reproductive success, individuals must find ways to identify signals that display high quality. The handicap principle can explain why some traits are a reliable indicator of individual quality. It states that a trait for a selected sex representing quality may evolve until it becomes a handicap for the individual and is removed by natural selection. So basically, the handicap principle states that these quality signals will display the cost of an individual that an individual can endure while still surviving. An example of the handicap principle is peacocks. So as you may know, male peacocks have extravagant tail feathers, which they erect in order to attract females. These tail feathers, though extravagant, they make them more vulnerable to predators and make them slower. So basically, if a peacock can still survive while having an extravagant tail, it will be deemed as good quality to a peahen because it can still survive while having this large tail, which means that they are agile enough to escape predators. Iridescence shows potential to be a signal of quality because to produce iridescence, an individual need certain dimensions and organizations of their color producing nanostructures. And it also may be condition dependent. So if an individual is not getting enough nutrients, they will not display iridescence. And in addition, structural colors have been associated with individual quality in previous studies. Iridescence is an example of a structural color, so it is not actually created by pigment. It is created by structures, such as nanostructures. The other structural colors that have been found to be associated with reproductive success in previous studies are blue and green plumage, and yeah. So why would you choose tree swallows for this study? Well, both male and female tree swallows display blue, green, and iridescent plumage, female tree swallows after 2 years. And usually in avian species, female tree swallows do not show much color compared to the males. So you have more test subjects where you can test the color. And they also breed every year, so we will have data of the reproductive success, more data on that. And they're also easy to catch because they are cavity nesters, so they nest in nest boxes. So the reason why we want to study the signals of quality is because it will increase our understanding of evolution. We will have an outline of what traits are subject to sexual selection. And in addition, iridescence is understudied compared to other structural colors. So our predictions for this project were that iridescent plumage would be more associated with more reproductive success, of course, because of the handicap principle. And so we tested iridescence with 3 variables, hue, brightness, and saturation. And we predicted that higher brightness and saturation would be associated with high reproductive success, and bluer plumage would be also associated with more reproductive success, because it has been found in previous studies that bluer plumage is associated with higher reproductive success. So the data collection for the study was in southern Quebec during the years 2013, 2014. The data originated from a long-term study that started in 2004. 400 nest boxes across 40 farms were observed once every 2 days. Female tree swallows were captured during incubation and males during food provision. 9 feathers were collected from each male, 3 from 3 areas of each male, the rump, crown, and mantle, and 6 feathers were collected from each female, 3 each from the rump and crown. Yeah. Okay, so for those who do not know the body parts of the tree swallow, the crown is basically the head of a bird. So that's why it's called crown. Mantle represents the back area, and the rump represents like the area that is near the tail feathers under the back on the mantle. So our results were surprising. Only male crown brightness was significantly associated with reproductive success, and it was actually negatively associated with reproductive success, which we did not predict at all. And female rump brightness and saturation was positively associated with reproductive success. We expected more variables to potentially influence the reproductive success. And female crown hue was negatively associated with reproductive success. And this was expected because in previous studies, bluer plumage was associated with more reproductive success, and a lower wavelength in this study represents blue, and higher represents green. So this is just basically what I explained earlier. We did not expect these results at all, because in previous studies have found the opposite results. So we looked into why this could have happened, and our results may have been because of the unique habitat and social behavior of tree swallows, and also female delayed plumage maturation in tree swallows. And tree swallows are the only species, there's two species actually, and tree swallows are one of them. One of the two only species where delayed plumage maturation is seen in females. So basically, the habitat of these tree swallows was in agricultural area. So basically, it was found in previous studies that males of better quality chose good quality areas that are actually near migration corridors, but they are agricultural areas where pesticides will later be used. So the pesticides would reduce the amount of prey available to these tree swallows, and it's basically an ecological trap. So there will be less prey for the tree swallows and their offspring, leading to less reproductive success. And also, higher quality tree swallows will compete for better nest sites, so they will have less time taking care of offspring and instead utilize that time to initiate aggressive behaviors. Delayed plumage maturation is basically a strategy where young birds that can still reproduce display subadult plumage instead of regular adult plumage. And this strategy has been theorized to be helpful for them because as I said before, higher quality, like more bright and more saturated tree swallows will initiate more aggressive behaviors with each other. So if a tree swallow displays less bright, less saturated colors, they will face less aggressive behaviors from other tree swallows. So they will have more time to care for the offspring. So after 2 years, the females display the bright blue plumage like the males. And we think that's why the females with more brightness and bluer plumages had more reproductive success, because that means that they're older and have more experience. Our results show that when studying honest quality signals and reproductive success, it is important to take into account the ecological context and experience of individuals. In addition, our results also may show the negative effects of pesticides on the reproductive success of birds. I would like to thank Dr. Justine Levaillon again for her mentorship, explanations, and help. I learned a lot about the structure of a research paper in ornithology because of her. Overall, I think Talaria let me experience research and introduced me to the field of ecology.